folks. Hello and welcome. Excuse me. Techthusiasm Live podcast. What are we? Monday, October 6th, 6 p.m. I'm sorry for the delay. See if see if folks are still able to turn out. Kind of violated the usual time that we've been holding, but I actually had some of the contractors here doing work for the project, and so I had to tend to that. They literally left, finished up, left, paid the bill like 10 minutes ago, and then shot down here to get online and still try to hold this conversation today. So here we are. Just basically a hangout format today. Talk a little bit about the project and some stuff that's kind of been going on with that. And that's the main topic. If anybody has other topics, questions, elements of conversation, any cool new home theater news or upgrades or things that you've done or you want to chat about, please put those into the chat, and happy to hit those. Yeah, my life has been kind of dominated by the living room project of late. So obviously that's the main point of discussion here today. I will say next week will be we'll have a guest, basically a guest format. So Chris Shaw from Focal will be joining us to basically talk about the product line. Is I'm on the eve of hopefully by next Monday. Well, actually, no, by next Monday the speakers won't be in. I was hoping that by the time we talk to Chris, that he came on for the live stream, that the utopias and everything would be in the walls and running, but that's not going to be the case. So it'll be a little bit delayed, but still, we were scheduled with Chris, or we preset for next Monday. So regardless, that should be a fun conversation, chance to basically hear directly from the expert, right? Focal expert. We'll talk about the architectural series, the 1000 series. I'm sure I've had some questions actually about the new cinema series and how some of the stuff differs, how it works, how it integrates, and all of that. So if you have questions about Focal, Focal business, product line, capabilities, and all of that, definitely bring them. Please bring them next week. That will be Monday at 5 o'clock at the usual time. So again, starting late today because of essentially tending to the project. So it's been everything since basically the last live stream. So since we last met, actually prior to the last live stream, we had done the re-racking already. That was a week ago Sunday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, the real work in the living room started. And so some of those vlogs are up. And then this past weekend, my son and I, Sunday, again, we spent all day doing a bunch of work for the project. Today was electrical. And then, excuse me, I'm hoping tomorrow starts the drywall. I'm waiting to hear back from the overall general contractor about the availability. But the drywall guy did come by at the very end of last week, and he measured out for material planning and stuff like that, and was hopeful that there might be a Tuesday start for that. But in any case, let's circle back around. I hope everybody had a fun weekend. Fall is not setting in. Fall is my favorite season, and it's not here. These last 3 days have been like 85 degrees. We were planning to go, and we did end up going apple picking. The family, we're really having a hard time trying to find family time with kids' activities and all the hustle and bustle of life and this project and other things. So Saturday we had a window of opportunity. We went and did some apple picking, and we went to the our town here. Our town here is huge for Halloween. My town goes nuts for Halloween. It's kind of the focal point for the holiday in the area surrounding here. And so this weekend was kind of the launch of the Halloween season, big street party downtown and all that stuff. So we did that Saturday night as well. And it didn't even feel like fall, like wearing shorts, excuse me, shorts and flip-flops and sweating in 85-degree weather is not fall. It's not humid anymore, but it's not comfortable to me. My wife's loving it. She'd take this every day, but I'm a soaking wet puddle of sweat. I'm ready for real fall. So tomorrow, I think here, Southeast Michigan, we drop from 85 to like 65. So that's going to be hard on a lot of bodies, I think. But I will be refreshed. Apple picking, we were supposed to be in jeans and hoodies and feeling comfortably cool and crisp outside, not sweating it out in the orchard. But anyway, so we had a nice weekend, and again, my son and I spent the whole day Sunday working on some stuff. I'll talk a little bit about that through the hour here and catch up a bit um, on the vlogs and some of the content that's been coming out. So a quick shout out as well. I've noticed that there's been a couple new channel members that have joined up lately. Westman, Frank Marin, and Here We Go. So if you catch this, if you're watching it, thank you for your support. I really appreciate everybody that takes it upon themselves to become a channel member. I think there's maybe a dozen or so. Sammy Prescott, the oldest member of the channel, going strong. Julius as well, right behind him. Michael, Martin, DJ, Laurie, Mia, and others. I appreciate all of your efforts there. I really need to put like a member scroll into the videos. Been on my to-do list for a while, but in any case, if anybody is interested in in showing some appreciation with the memberships, you can find the join option on any of the videos. I think I have the level set at like there's a $2.99 level and like a $9.99 level if you're really feeling super generous, or maybe $7.99. I forget what the upper one was, but I do my best to try to, when I have more content queued up, I release it. So right now, actually, there's 3 videos that are set members first right now. Project vlogs 4, 5, and 6 are all currently published to channel members, and they'll be releasing in the coming days. So vlog 1 was the introduction to the project back on September 26th. Vlog 2 published on October 1st. That was the re-rack from last Sunday. And then vlog 3 published as well, I think that was Friday. Yeah, October 3rd. So that was the teardown of the project, or sorry, the teardown of the equipment, taking the TV down, taking the speakers out, and basically getting ready. So that was vlog 3. Vlog 4 is the actual deconstruction. So that one will go live for everybody tomorrow. It's been live for members, I think, for the last couple of days. I think maybe it was Saturday I put it up. But in any case, that was the sum total of Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday when the guys were here. They ripped all the drywall down. They took off the upper section of the wall that sticks out that I no longer wanted to maintain. We want to have the wall be vertically straight. Or no, I'm sorry, this was Tuesday. I'm getting my days mixed up already. That was when they were here Tuesday, so last week Tuesday. And everything went pretty smooth. There weren't really any snafus or problems with that. Took the trim off nice. That we're going to try to put a lot of the trim back up. I'm going to have to make some arrangements for a couple pieces of trim on the sides for the baseboard. But they did a good job. This is Brian Mitter Construction, Southeast Michigan. And give him my recommendation. He's got his crew, he's got his other guys. So the drywall is a partner collaborator of his. The electrician that was here today, same thing. He's got a whole infrastructure and a whole building crew. So yeah, the wall was defaced basically down to the studs, and then later that day, basically, I pulled out or cut back out a variety of the existing wiring that was there. So I wasn't planning to continue using the same speaker wire and stuff that was running previously. I wanted to step it up. There was some lower gauge wire or smaller gauge wire, 16 gauge wire before. I want to get it up to 12 gauge and whatnot. So I was planning to pull new speaker wire. So yeah, demo went off without a hitch, and then they came back Wednesday, and then they built. They did the reconstruction pieces. So the project is working out quite a lot better even than I was hoping that it might, which is great. I was wondering if we would have to be taking the entirety of the framing down and we would have to reframe the whole wall. And we didn't do that nearly at all. The whole base structure of the bump out stayed intact, stayed as is. They were able to extend it out by just basically adding more lumber to the face, all nice and snug and secure. So I'm going to gain at least 1.5 inches of depth more. So the TV will sit nicer in without kind of hanging forward. It'll give me the option to go to a deeper television if and when I should need to do that. So that'll be a big plus without, again, that TV kind of hanging out from the face of the bump out. And then I was able to get the extra width that I needed to accommodate the 97, 98-inch television sizes that wouldn't fit in the original framing. So they replaced some 2x boards with 1x boards, which uh, gave us some width back because we didn't expand the overall footprint of the exterior of the framing. We were cheating some space out by changing out the lumber, but they got that nice and snug in there and kind of locked in really well. And then those boards, oh, excuse me, it's been a tiring week. Um, those boards were moved slightly wider as well. So I went from about having 85 inches of width to fit the television to now with no drywall, it's 89 inches of width. And we're going to use thinner drywall on the inside of the bump out itself, 1/4 inch drywall. So that will still leave me with 88 and a half inches. So I'm gaining 3+ inches, which will be plenty to hold any of those types of TVs that are going to go in there, while still making sure that we maintained enough width that the column channel where the speakers will go in is wide enough to both accommodate the speaker and accommodate the mounting clips that kind of rotate out inside the wall and screw back against the back face of the wall or the rear of the drywall to clamp the speaker down. All in all, the width of the speaker alone, you have to accommodate for more than that. So I want to say it was like 13-ish inches or almost 13 and a half inches when you account for the flaps of the focal speakers being out. And we ended up with 14 inches of width in the columns where the speakers would actually go. So small margin of error. I'll have to make sure that when we cut the speaker holes out, we get them right and they're not too biased to one side, because I don't want those clips coming out and then impacting the side framing and then not being able to actually fully engage and hold the speaker that we want it to. So that all worked out really well. So yeah, they finished that. That wasn't even a full day of work on Wednesday. I think they were here half the day. Both days actually, they came kind of more like lunchtime-ish or after lunch, and they were done before dinner time. And then nothing really happened Thursday, Friday. We were making our decisions about whether or not we were going to put a ceiling fan in the room. We had the access to it to be able to get an electrical line up and over, and we had a location in the wall where a switch for the fan was acceptable. We don't have a lot of wall space for stuff like that, and I wanted to minimize the tear up, as I often try to do. But I decided that I wasn't planning to use I think I said this in some of the vlogs that were published, but I was no longer planning to use the LED strips, the backlighting behind the television. I haven't used the backlighting that's been sitting on that wall in years. I actually don't really like it. Um, Despite everything that I think generally is maybe recommended or whatnot, that it's a good idea to have a backlight for your TV, or you watch a TV in a dark room and it reduces your eye strain and stuff like that. To me, like, illuminating the space behind the television just illuminated the fact that the TV was sitting in this inset, and it made, to me, it made it draw more attention to the fact that, like, we were watching a TV versus it just feeling natural that we were being drawn into the image that we were watching, if that made sense. So again, it made it so that we were watching the equipment, not getting drawn as much into the content. And depending on where you were at in the room, if you walked far to the side, you could see the strips illuminating and stuff. So to me, it was much better to just have it be pitch black dark, right? Just have it be dark behind the television and around the television. So we didn't need that switch location. I took the strips out when I took everything down, and there's a little transformer box for the switch, or for the strips, that we don't need anymore. And I'm like, well, we can use that location and put a Control 4 fan controller module in there, and then it'll be behind the TV. We'll never interact with the actual switch, but we'll be able to change the fan with the Halo remote control while we're sitting in the room. And I can program it to one of the buttons on button control panel in the room as well. So we'll have easy options to be able to manage the fan and control the fan speeds and stuff. So we did that. The electrician did it today. And I just reused, we actually took a switch out. We reused a switch that was a fan switch that was taken out. Because I actually de-smarted the house a little bit. We took, while they were here, I'm like, I've been meaning to do it myself, but I'm like, we need the switch anyway. And you guys can do this in 30 seconds. As a trained electrician, it's going to take me whatever 15 minutes to do it. You'll be done in a minute. Just do it. So we actually took the Control 4 light and fan switches out of all of our bedrooms. Just completely unnecessary. We never. It's still nice to dim those lights, but basically we never controlled those things with any type of automation in over a decade. They're literally just light switches that we walk into the room and turn them on, and we walk out of the room and we turn them off. So it's waste. It's another wireless node. Why do we need so many wireless nodes constantly communicating all around our household? So we took those out, and I'm continuing to try to look for ways to both simplify the system and get it more wired at the same time. So that made total. It worked out totally fine then that we took one of the fan switches upstairs that came out and put it downstairs in the living room to control that node. And that's not adding another Control 4 switch because the TV dimmer was already on a Control 4 switch. So it's just exchanging the purpose of one wireless control node for another. And then we had one other little thing they needed to do. I need to have these guys back though. We have whole home surge protectors on our electrical panels that have their protection has basically expired, and so we need to get those replaced. I'd like to restore that protection. So I talked about that project before they left, and we'll get that quoted and get that done separately. So hit a couple comments and then kind of keep musing on some of the projects, particularly the wiring. That was the big thing yesterday. So hello to Julius. Hello to Chintaput. Welcome, guys. Julius, when did you say the reno will be completed? So originally I was hoping that this coming weekend we would be done. Like I would be able to be putting the speakers in, and we'd have a workable AV setup this coming weekend. But I don't think we'll get there. I'm waiting to hear. Actually, he just called me in the background here. The drywaller, the contractor's drywaller guy. I have to call him back after the live stream. So when he came to measure, he said that he would hopefully be able to start Tuesday, possibly Wednesday, possibly Tuesday, and that he would be done by like Saturday. So, and that would be like put all the drywall up, mud, tape, sand, and basically have it completely set. So then from there, we still need paint, if finishing trim and stuff like that to go up. So I'm hoping now that maybe certainly by the following weekend, at a minimum, we wanted it by Halloween. We usually host like a Halloween party, friends and family and stuff. And again, our town is nuts for Halloween. So we get like whatever, 150 trick-or-treaters and 200 trick-or-treaters or whatnot. So we'll meet the minimum requirement, certainly of being done by Halloween. Hopefully we're even done before, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. Long story short, maybe best case scenario, I'm putting speakers in Wednesday night. Michael also, you putting a G5 in there? No. So I actually had this on my notes to talk about kind of towards the end, but I'm still kind of debating the TV choices a little bit. Yeah, High Finest. Yeah, what's up with that G5? I'm still kind of debating the TV choices a little bit. I have talked to LG, and I actually have some kind of like new, let's say, expanded business opportunity potentially with them. So, but I can't really, we can't really act on that right now. We're given like kind of where we are in the TV cycle. So the 2025 models are now kind of long in the tooth. A lot of marketing outlook and effort and business effort is being put towards getting ready for CES now already in the 2026 models. So there's kind of like there's a special program. I can already access actually LG as a dealer. And so we were kind of contemplating how can we do something on the marketing side? How can we do something on on the dealer side, like what programs are available, what kind of things can we do. And so, long story short, and as much as that I can actually fully divulge about it, there's kind of like a special program um, that I would end up having some access to next year. Um, and that would coincide basically with the 2026 marketing cycle and the 2026 models and stuff. So right now I'm looking towards probably a 97-inch G6. As soon, hopefully as quickly and as soon as it becomes available. Um, so it doesn't make sense to try to pursue something else, and there's not as much opportunity to pursue anything else in the interim anyway. I know the G2 97s were still available on Best Buy there for a little while, but last I had checked anyway, they were gone. And it doesn't look like any G4s have come up with like similar discount, like fire sale discount deals. So I'll either do one of two things for the television. Either I will just sit tight and just keep the 83-inch G2 potentially until we can make the full segue into a 97-inch G6. Or I may consider a 98 TCL QM9K as a stopgap. Because it is, we look now till maybe springtime when the new models are actually coming available. That's a good 6 months from now, right? So it kind of would be cool to get an experience with TCL, be able to make some content about it, coming from an OLED over to that mini LED, and then and then most likely, I think, back again. Um, so I think that would be interesting perspective, and but we'll see. I did ask for some availability and like lead time on the TCL QM9K, and I haven't gotten it yet on the 98-inch model. If it's available pretty quick, and I can sell the G2 pretty quickly as well. Again, I may do that for just a couple of months, um, and then look towards the G6 or whatever other news and stuff may come out of CES in January. So, let's see, Michael, you might want to get the bracket for the model you're thinking to get aligned with the studs. Oh, yeah, no, I'm all set. Like, I already had the 97 is a bit bigger, um, but I use a third party. Yeah, I don't use like LG's brackets. I use a third party bracket. I have a big heavy duty pull out swivel. Um, uh, it's a snap rack, strong XL mount. I think the thing will hold like whatever 100+ pound television. So I'm gonna just put that right back up. And luckily, I don't have to worry about hitting studs because of the way we did it originally. The original construction of the wall. We have the inset for the television, which has framed studs behind it or in the back of it, and then we put thick plywood up. So that plywood is locked strong into those studs, and then we mount the TV mount essentially to the plywood piece and then there's drywall on top of that, which doesn't hold anything when it comes to the television, but just say drywall, thick plywood locked into the studs. And so, I mean, I got monster long lag bolts taking that mount, locking it all the way through that plywood. So we're good. And then that's a universal mount. So it'll hang whatever we get. It just depends on the TV. I may have to end up taking the mount off the wall and moving it higher or lower. Um, the the prior 85-inch Sony that I had, the X900H, we had the mount a lot higher for whatever reason. Sony's mounting holes and pattern were higher. Or actually, I might be misremembering. I think I changed the mount as well. I think we went to the XL mount when I got this LG. So the other mount actually like had a piece that came down. But in any case, like the mounting patterns for the televisions aren't necessarily always in the middle. Some are higher, some are lower, whatever. So it's that may necessitate moving the mount up or down. The mount the mount allows you to easily shift the television left to right, and then you lock it onto the brackets, onto the bars. But I think the mount it doesn't have any vertical adjustment to it. So you got to get the whole mount on the wall in the right vertical spot relative to the TV that's there. So it's nice actually then for the project that we didn't have to rip down the whole plywood backing and stuff. That stayed up. It's all stable. It's finished. It's locked in. And if I do end up putting the G2 back up for any period of time, if it's a weeks or 6 months or whatever, I can just put the mount right back on the same holes that it was taken down from. So makes it easy. And I really do like that mount. What's the word? You can pull it out. It extends out, giving me space to get behind the TV and do stuff, and then it swivels left to right. We never like use it swivel or directing towards anything or pulled out. It's just the access to be able to work behind it is really good. Julia said, "I control all my lights, heating, air by voice using Alexa." That's nice. I need to spend some time after this project is done. It's on my deep list of things to do. I need to go explore Control 4 more and figure out what's going on with Control 4 and HomeKit, Control 4 X4 and HomeKit integration, because I would really like to try to get Apple S Lady voice control operating for a variety of things, now including this fan. I'd love to be able to just to grab the Halo remote and push the voice button or something and be able to say, turn the fan on, turn the fan on high, turn the fan on medium, or even my phone or whatever it may be. So yep, yeah, High Finest. Yeah, I know you brought this to my attention. I know you jumped on it. G2 for 9K, smoking deal. That's great. That's a great price. For $25,000 television. Chinta, but G2 have a TSC 3.0 tuner. Honestly, I don't even know offhand. I'd have to look up the spec. I haven't used the tuner in any of my TVs for quite a while. High Finest. I get something in the intro. Yeah, so you can compare. Not many reviews with experience of both. So that's what I think would be fun, because it's interesting, because in the comments, it's like I've seen a bunch of folks say to me, it's like, oh man, like you don't want the TCL, you're gonna regret it, like and stuff. So it's like, well, I'd like to know. I'd like to know for certain. And I think that opinion would be valuable to be that qualified opinion would be valuable to share. What was the experience of going from a high-end G series OLED to something like a TCL mini LED? Does it prove to be not so great? Does it prove to be not the change actually not consequential, right? And the TV is great in its own rights and whatnot. So um, when you're talking about something that ultimately at the same sizes, right? The 97-inch G is still a $5,000 television, and a 98-inch QM9K is $6,000. Geez, you can buy four. You can buy four of those TCLs and still not spend the same price as the G series. You'd hope that there's a lot of value in that difference in spending that money, but it'd be fun to get the experience. And I think another thing that I would like to try to really do going forward is make the television be something that I update more regularly, just for the content, and be able to, whether I go around between different brands or at a minimum, I just at least make sure that I get the new model every year. Um, that's at least a minimum requirement that I would like to do, so that I can get it. And I would presume, especially if I'm talking about like the 97-inch OLEDs in a real living space, right, where I'm using it every day and I'm doing high-end gaming on it. It's connected to a kaleidoscope. It's integrated with this high-end audio system and stuff that'll be built around it. I think I will be uh, the the only one that has something at that level. So it'll be fun to comment on it. High Finest. The real question: 83-inch OLED or the immersion of 98-inch LED? Yeah, size. I think size would win for me, if it came down to it. Like if I, especially after doing this project, like I want a 98-inch television in there. I want the bigger presentation for gaming. I want larger presentation of particularly of scope content. If and when we watch movies in there, or a lot of these newer television shows that are in wider than 16:9 aspect ratios, I want those to present bigger. So, yeah, in this choice, my gut tells me size over that, especially when that size difference is like 15 inches, right? 83 versus 77. I don't know. Maybe that I could debate a little bit, but I don't have the calculator in front of me. If somebody wants to run it in the background, like what's the surface here, I can do it in AI. What's the surface area difference between a 83-inch television and a 98-inch television, both being can't type, both being 16:9 aspect ratios. Let's see if I can do this math. It's got to be huge, right? Okay, so 83-inch, if this is right, it's 2,900 square inches. 98 inches, 4,100 square inches. So 4.8 square feet more screen real estate than on the 98-inch. 30%, more than 30% more surface area. That's huge. That's a lot of immersion for sure. Let me drink here. So yesterday was the wiring day. Man, I was spent. When you watch the vlog, you basically see that'll be vlog number 6. So again, vlogs 4, 5, and 6 are available for channel members. 4 will post tomorrow. 5, which is I'm gonna forget again. I gotta look at the stuff. Make sure I give out the right information. Yeah, 4 will post tomorrow. That's the deconstruction. 5 will post Thursday right now, and these are all scheduled, I think, for 8 a.m. Eastern time. I should do them later, and I should do them as premieres, but we'll see. 5 will come Thursday. That's the reconstruction, kind of the adding back, building the wall back out, and rebuilding some of the framing. And then 6 is the wiring project from yesterday. I think I have that scheduled to post on Saturday. So starting tomorrow for 2 days, starting tomorrow for every 2 days will be a vlog, and then that'll lead us in 2 days later again to Monday's live stream with Chris Shaw from Focal. And then I'll film more vlogs this week. Probably the whole drywalling effort, the whole week's effort, I'll probably distill that down into one video, kind of updating as they go. And then there'll be like a finishing vlog, and then we'll get to like the gear install and finalization. So probably 10. Thinking this whole video series will be maybe 10 videos. And then I did film like a hands-on unboxing overview of the Wattbox 820 rack unit. I'll edit that, and that stuff will probably come after. I do have a video about the RUI Pro detachable end cables. We'll talk a little bit about those in this as well, but there'll be a dedicated video really showcasing those cables. Spoiler alert, they're really sweet. I'm glad I chose those. And then I'll probably do like a dedicated Utopia review type video as well, like dedicated deep dive type thing. And then actually there'll be calibration. There'll be some other stuff to do as well. Maybe there'll be 11 episodes. Maybe we'll do calibration as the final episode. Been a while since I've done any like Arc Genesis content and stuff like that. So okay, so wiring. So in the wiring aspect, man, that was a tough day. So by the end of vlog 6, I was ready to be done. I was done with the project. I was done working on this thing. I was done with it for the day. My son and I, we got going. It was a little bit later, almost maybe noonish, I think, on Sunday that we started working, and we were done. It was like 6:30, but like the rack, redoing the rack took longer. Actually, I think I worked from like 11 a.m. to almost 7 p.m. on the rack, and I didn't feel as smoked as I did doing the wiring. And then the wiring as well. Oh man, my little panel fell down. I have to fix. I got some more wiring stuff to fix up. The wiring stuff as well is just like dirty work, putting your arms in the walls and dust and insulation. And so we pulled the existing HDMI cables out. So you're pulling stuff out of the walls, and it's coming with all of its dust and grime and drywall gunk and all that stuff, insulation, rubbing on all the insulation. And so we pulled 2 of the cables out, left 1 remaining. left the optical because the optical needs to stay in the install. And then we pulled from the living room down through. So basically, we ended up with 2 runs of speaker wire to each speaker location. I didn't end up doing 3, and then 5 HDMI, five fiber optic lines, basically, for video signals, and then the optical audio cable remained as well. Um, all in all, I mean, it went fine. It's just slow work, like feeding stuff through. You got to tape everything up and get your run ready, and then make the pull, and then you got to undo everything. But it ended up really nice. So the cables went really nice. So these RUI Pro cables. Let me actually see if I can pull this. Show these off. I think actually I had them. Yeah. So let me do the speaker wire first. So the speaker wire. Let me make sure to log out of here. The speaker wire, we ended up with only 2 runs per speaker, and I was originally thinking that we may do 3. Um, sorry, I just want to make sure that I don't put any personally identifiable information up when I share this screen image. So originally planning to do 3. This kind of gets the high finest questions as well. Any further decision on the amplification? Consider 2 more used M23s on audio guns, quite a few available. I wonder if people are selling the V1s because the V2 is out. But originally I was thinking I wanted to do three lines of speaker wire to each location because it would have given me total flexibility. 1 line of speaker wire would have allowed a bridged M23 to fully power a single Utopia Plus subwoofer module with their interconnection as a full range speaker. That is actually what Focal recommended to try to do. And I did have some conversation as well. I was texting with Gene at Audioholics because they had done the M23 review, and there was, I think, some concern. There was some concern during the M23 review that they don't carry the load so well when they were bridged. And so I was talking through it with those guys about, well, okay, what's the ohm load? What's the impedance of the speaker plus the subwoofer module? Does it stay above a certain level? In which case the M23 bridged is solid. So, but that's the way that Focal recommended it. And I think that's the way that I'm going to try it. That would require 1 speaker cable. Now, with 2 speaker cables, I have 2 options. And this is kind of some stuff that I want to talk with Chris about next week as well, live, and just kind of let him give his thoughts and opinions on the matter too. His very technically qualified thoughts and opinions on the matter. With 2 runs of speaker wire, I could use a single M23, which has 2 amplifiers in it, non-bridged, and I could have one of those amps power the Focal, power the Utopia speaker. I have the other amp power the subwoofer module, and then Arc Genesis integrates them. It runs its delay and phase integration sequence and all that stuff. If I had, so that's option 1, or option 2 with 2 wires is I could connect the Utopia speaker to the subwoofer with its interconnect. Now I have a single big full range speaker, but the Focal Utopia itself is biampable. So if that works, I could use the 2 separate amps instead of the bridge mode to basically run a biamp on the speaker. But if I had 3 speaker wires, I could not connect the subwoofer module and the speaker module via its interconnect, leave them separate, biamp the actual Focal Utopia speaker, and then amplify the subwoofer module on its own. To do that, I wouldn't be able to use the M23s. I would end up having to potentially appropriate one of the M28. What I would do is I would actually get rid of the M23s, and we'll see how things go. But there could be a pathway where one of the M28s from the theater side comes over, and then that has 7 amplifiers in it, gives me 2 per speaker plus 2 subwoofers. I use 6 of the 7 amps, and that's good to go. So I thought it would have been cool to have have the flexibility of all of these options. Now the failure mode came in when my son and I took the speaker wire that we had and we started cutting it into sections to pull them, because we would have needed, it's one big spool of wire. I bought a 300-foot spool of wire, which 300 feet would have been enough to do the whole thing. And I thought that I still had more than enough speaker wire to make all 6 wire segments out of the remainder of the 300 after using some of the 300 to run 2 lines of speaker wire to each speaker in the theater. And I didn't. So we determined that we should do 35-foot wire lengths for the left channel, because that's right where the access hole is that comes up from the wire run. So we cut 335 lengths, which was a little over 100 foot of the speaker wire. And then we figured, okay, for the other side, we need 45 feet. So we cut 145, and then we started laying it out to take the remainder of the wire, cut the next 45. And by my original math, I figured we'd have more than 45 feet on the remainder of the cable, and we didn't. We had like, I don't even remember what it was, like 20 more feet. Like, oh my God. Yeah, because we had the final remainder of the cable after cutting the first 45-foot segment off. The remainder of the cable was 60 feet. So it wasn't even long enough to make 2 more to get to the other speaker safely. So I'm like, oh man, this is like compromising the whole thing, the whole plan. I could pull these cables later, really, if I wanted to, or if I really needed to. Realistically, I wasn't going to use 3 cables initially anyway, because I don't have the amplifiers to do it, and I'm not planning any immediate change to allow for that. And I figured, well, the reality is that's probably that's probably the least realistic way that this is going to all get connected. And if Focal is actually suggesting that running the modules together as a single unified speaker is better, let the internal crossovers, the internal integration of the speaker do its thing without having to do an extra step of processing in the audio gear to manage things like delay and phase integration and stuff like that, probably is the smarter thing to follow. So actually, I don't need to put this HDMI. I'm talking about the speaker cable. So and then it's like, wow, man, we need to get this done. I want to get it done today. I don't want to wait. My only other option would have been to like put in a monoprice order, pay a bunch of money, maybe try to expedite, like pay for the advance order processing, pay for overnight delivery. No matter what, I still wasn't getting it done yesterday. So we just made an executive decision and said, we're just going to do 2 lines per speaker. And that's the most capability that we're going to do. If in the future I find that, man, I really, really, really want a third line, because I'm going to go forward and do the 3 amp plan or something, then I can always pull it later. I can add it later. I mean, fundamentally, if I really wanted to, I probably could have ordered that cable and we could have just pulled it after the fact, since we already did the major bulk of the work. Adding a couple more, it's not a big deal. But again, I think that's the least likely outcome, at least in any kind of near term anyway. So we just did 2 per speaker, and that's fine. So either, I think I'm going to start going all the way back to this question. I believe my first connection is going to be interconnect the speaker subwoofer, treat it as one single full range speaker, bridge the amps, and run it that way. Throw some content on it, crank it up, and see if the amps shut down or not. If they go into protect mode and shut down, I would feel pretty safe that nothing's going to get damaged. But if the load isn't handleable, the amp will handle that occurrence. And if that's the case, okay, well, then I've got 2 wires. I will unbridge the amps and make a decision to either, again, buy amp the interconnected speaker subwoofer, or break the speaker subwoofer connection and amp the speaker and the subwoofer separately on the unbridged M23. So we'll talk more about that next week with Chris for sure, and compare and contrast some of the logistics of either method. Okay, so let's talk about the cables then. So the HDMIs. So I'm digging on these. Yeah, I'm digging on these HDMI cables. Let me try to get this a little bit bigger. So I've used RUI Pro cables for a long time. I have their cables, fiber optic cables running between the rack and the projector, the NZ900 behind me. I've been using their cables in my runs from the rack to the living room already. Their crystal cables is the ones that were in there. But when I saw these, it's like, man, this is what I want. I really like this sensibility of these cables. So these are detachable ends, full fiber optic. The cable is so small. Like 5 of these cables had less bulk, or maybe about the same bulk as one of the crystal cables. Certainly less bulk for 5 of these than 2 of the crystals put together. They're super lightweight, they're flexible, they're easy to pull. I mean, you don't want to bend them into a hard U or anything because it's an optical cable. But yeah, and they're super flexible, super easy to use. And this is just fiber optic cable straight up. So like this is what, it's a future proofing move because the HDMI tips are not fixed. They're removable. So if HDMI 2.1 B or C or whatever comes along, or HDMI 2.2, boom, they just release new tips. You pop the tips off, you put the new tips on, and away you go, right? So these, with the current tips, these are completely 48 gig HDMI 2.1 capable, support eARC, all the stuff. They do support CEC if you were using it as well. Note though that they do require power, and I'm not entirely sure yet. Like, uh, according to the instructions, they it seems that you always need to have power. I'm curious to test that out. Do you actually always need power? It does say in the manual, like if you're using CEC, you do need power on both sides, and the cable does come with 2 power adapters. It's a USB-A to the little jack that plugs into the cable head. Um, if you're not using CEC, it recommends putting power on the display side. So that's my plan basically. But yeah, pulling them without the tips on them makes pulling the wire so much easier. And the other cool thing about it is they're bidirectional, right? Because essentially it's just a dumb piece of optical cable. Doesn't matter if you put the source tip on this end and the display tip on this end, or if you need to reverse the signal, you just reverse the tips. So I thought that was all really cool. And then I found they had a couple of other things as well. So they make the wall plates where you basically can get this. You buy one of these cables for whatever length of fiber optic you need. One of them, either the source or the display side, can go directly into the cable, and the other end is a female side, can attach to the back of these wall plates. And so they basically couple together like this. So you can go wall plate to wall plate. You can go wall plate to just a tip if you need to, but it's female on the back of the wall plates. And then they make what they call this other type cable, a female to male, so that you can extend from the wall plate either to the display or to the device that could be the source. And so that's this cable here, where if you notice it has these couple prongs, right? So male side, female side, like, this is awesome. I could totally use this. So what I did was I had a 15-foot, I bought a 15-foot regular cable with the HDMI ends, and then pulled that through. So one end, the display end, will just hang out in the back of behind the TV, plug into the television. And then I routed that down and through I drilled some holes, same channel holes that the speaker wire is running through, to get across the bump out to the right channel speaker. So this fiber optic cable snakes through there. And then I'm going to just put one of the wall plates on the side of the bump out. So down by the floor, right above the baseboard trim, right next to where the PC stands, presuming I leave the PC in the living room, I'll have a wall plate with a fiber optic connection. So if I ever need to wire something HDMI in the room, PC or anything else for that matter, I don't have to pull the TV out and fool around or hang a cable down. I can plug in and all my infrastructure is behind the wall. So, and then I bought this cable. So the regular cables come in a ton of lengths, 3, 6, 10, 15, 20, 33, 40, 50, 65, 85, 990 feet. But these other cables, the male female extension cable, comes in 3, 6, and 10, because they're only assuming that you're going to make a shorter junction with one of these cables, basically short extension for keystone wall plate. So all I need is the 3-foot one. So 3 feet is plenty of cable for me to plug into the wall plate and then go up the back of the PC and go through the opening and plug in for the PC as the source. So this is real nice. This is going to really make it real nice. I thought about on the bump out opening some channels or getting some I actually bought some plastic pass-through tubes, and I was going to open up the side of the bump out on both sides just in case I ever wanted to pass any cable through. And then it's like, do I really need that? I'm making the choice now. If I need that in the future, I'll drill it out and I'll put that in the future. But for now, this is a much better solution. So yeah, so I was really happy with this. So I have 5 long HDMI runs going from the rack to the television. Then I have that one 15-foot run looping down below the TV, basically, and over to the right hand side, and then it'll junction into that wall plate behind and below where the speaker will be. And so I'm going to start then, I think, with the PC still continuing in the living room. I'm not looking to spend more on the USB over Cat6 balance and stuff like that. We'll just put the PC back in the room. It'll integrate even a little bit better because the bump out will be just a little bit deeper, and so it'll line up and fit all nicely there. So I was super happy with that. And then also we went to Home Depot, and along the wall, way up in my storage room wall, I'm like, we need a better cable routing solution up on that wall. So we went and we bought 10 feet of the white stick-on wire cavities. I forget what they're called now. Home Depot has their name for them. It's the same stuff that I have stuck in the theater room here under my curtains to come from my hole through the wall and get around to the speakers and to the projector and stuff behind me. Bought the medium-sized one, good-sized channel, plenty big enough to hold the 4 speaker cables, the 5 fiber HDMI lines, and the optical cable as well. So we stuck that up on the wall, put all of that cabling through those channels. It's now nice and supported. Looks a lot better, works a lot better that way than the way I kind of had them Velcroed at a couple points, so they would just sag like Christmas lights or something hanging along. Now they're all in that channel. It's all straight through, and it's nicely supported and all of that. So we didn't end up terminating the cables and connecting them on the rack side. We'll worry about doing that after everything's done, but they're all sitting up there in the wall now. I got them spooled up and set aside, kind of set inside, so they're out of the way, and drywall, paint, and all that stuff can happen as well. We are going to stuff the wall full of batting, full of insulation. I think specifically probably rock wool or something. We probably won't stuff the speaker chambers until after everything is done and we're ready to put the speakers in. Then we'll stuff them full of insulation. The cables will all be set in the walls where we want them to be. Stuff those in insulation, and then boom, then the speakers will go in and they'll close up for hopefully a good long while. So that's that's that. And that cover again. So all of that progress up till now covers basically through vlog number 6. Hopefully I get back to this guy in a few minutes here after the stream. Hopefully we can get the drywall started tomorrow. Of course, there's no TV in the living room. Haven't watched anything in there in over a week. Behind on Peacemaker. Anybody watching any movies? Did you see anything cool this past week? Any new movies coming out for home watch that you're excited about watching? Let me know. I've been contemplating trying to make more of a concerted effort to pick up the big release every week on Kaleidoscape and do a movie review, technical review. But I didn't really see anything last week that was super exciting actually to buy and watch. We were looking Saturday night after we did the family stuff. We got home early enough from the Halloween event And it's like, let's watch a scary movie or like a Halloween movie or something. It's like, yeah, you know what? We haven't done Ghostbusters yet. Never did the Ghostbusters series as a family. So we did the original, whatever, 1984 Ghostbusters down here in the theater room, of course, on the Kaleidoscape and all that. I thought it looked really grainy. I was kind of really bummed about just how grainy it looked. Um, I think it was maybe worse at the start, got a little bit better later on, or maybe after a while I stopped paying attention to the grain and just watched the movie. But in any case, I think maybe through the month of October here, if it works out, maybe we'll run the whole Ghostbuster series if we can for this Halloween season. I've never actually watched the last two, the Frozen Empire, and then the one before it with Paul Rudd and whatnot. Watched the one with the girls, and of course seen the original too. But my memory was even fuzzy actually watching number one. I'm thinking about like the scenes that were coming up, some of the music and stuff, and it's like, oh wait, there's no Bobby Brown music or whatever in Ghostbusters one. That's only Ghostbusters two. And for some reason, I been so long since I've seen these films. I was thinking that like they fought the Marshmallow Man with the Statue of Liberty, and it's like, oh wait, no, shoot, the Statue of Liberty is completely in the second movie, in the Stay Puft Marshmallow guy is part of the first movie. Actually, it surprised me how little like Ghostbusters 1 feels like it's a very fast movie. Like everything happens pretty quick and it doesn't feel like it has a lot of depth to it. Um there is a lot of density or whatever to all of the stuff that was created for the movie, but it feels like it's over really fast. There's like the final battle, they kind of shoot their stuff, they cross the streams, the marshmallow dude blows up, they close the gate, and that's the movie. So yeah. Julius saying he's watching Ballerina tonight. Yeah, that might be one actually that is worth picking up. I think that's on sale right now. I need to double check maybe tonight because I think some of the Kaleidoscape sales may be changing tomorrow. Usually sales can kind of come and go on Tuesdays, but I think that's 14.99 right now. Srin, welcome Srin saying, yeah, James Bond collection's on sale on K as well. There's a bunch of stuff on sale right now. I need to double check before tomorrow and see what else comes. And then of course all the scary movies will go on sale probably pretty soon here for the bulk of October. Yeah, so I think that's just about everything to kind of muse on today. If anybody has any questions or comments, fire them out now. Let me know what's on your mind, and we'll move forward from here. It's later now. I got to get some dinner and got to get back in touch with these guys, get the day set for tomorrow and all that. Um, Go finish cleaning up from the electrical work. We really tore the living room apart now because they had to get to the center of the room to put in the ceiling fan, which meant cutting and drywall dust falling. So we just pretty much moved everything out. We moved the the table where the Legos were, took that completely away, and disconnected the sectional couch and pushed the sections away, rolled up the rug, and we'll probably leave it that way. Hopefully, especially if they're starting drywall tomorrow, we're just going to leave the room deconstructed until after um, all of the at least through the sanding. Hopefully, we can contain the dust for all the sanding and that prep. Then we'll put the room back together while they paint and those things and put the trim back up, and then we'll be good to go from there. So again, next week, Chris Shaw from Focal talking speakers. If you've got Focal product questions and stuff like that, please bring them next week for sure. Let's have that a lively and engaging discussion, hopefully. And we'll again talk about their stuff in the context of my project and some of the unique elements of connecting their things, the 1000 series and all that. I've got some other things brewing, some really big stuff brewing. Got a little activity next Tuesday, so teasing out. I'm not going to divulge those yet, but stay tuned. We may be talking some big exciting news on the 20th, and maybe by the 20th as well. Hopefully by the 20th as well. Then the living room will be back working, fully functional, and back online. Got to get this stuff squared away with the television decision to see if this TCL thing is actually going to work out as a as a viable option, and go from there. So fun stuff. I gotta get my energy back. So leave some comments on those vlogs. Fire me up, because man, I was dragging butt yesterday. Tired, hot, sweaty, dirty, and but really most of my work now is done. Putting the stuff in won't be a big deal, and actually, I'll probably even have the contractor measure out and cut the holes for the speakers and stuff, and I don't have to worry about that. And I just got to put everything back up, so it'll be fun. See, Greg D, welcome, Greg. Last question here. If anybody has any other questions, comments, let me know. Last call. Seems like you have a main theater and also a secondary theater. Where does the family viewing occur? So it depends, but yes, we have two full zones, two full entertainment zones. We have the dedicated theater room that I'm sitting in right now, which is at this point is pretty stable. It's a pretty high end room. JVC NZ900, Panamorph lens, Mad VR, NV Extreme, Kaleidoscape, big 162-inch scope screen, four SVS SB17 subwoofers, Anthem, NAD, theater seats, recliners, the whole gamut, Focal, Utopia level speakers and such. It's awesome. So we really use this for movies. This is really a movie room. When we want to watch movies, or I really want to watch a television show in higher quality, we'll come down here and use it. Sometimes, if we have like another friend, a couple, a family friend, family to family friends of ours, um, if we come over and we're hanging out here and there's like a WWE show and the ladies don't care about it, but the guys do, and our kids do, we'll come down here and we'll watch that down here just kind of casually. But really, I'd say this is like more critical viewing. Critical movie viewing is what this room is specialized for. And then everything else is the living room. So that will be a high-end setup as well. Focal Utopia, again, big flat panel. Right now, Anthem, NAD, uh, audio processing amplification, Kaleidoscape in there as well, plus Apple TV. That's where our gaming PC is set up and our Nintendo Switch. So the living room is the always system. That if I had to guesstimate on the frequency of use, it's probably like 90-10 living room to home theater, just because the living room is apt to be used daily. And I would say not a lot, not a ton, but I probably turn the TV on at least for a little while every night. Maybe watch a TV show. At least I'm watching the news, or maybe I'm just watching YouTube or something up there. My son and I, we tend to game in spurts, so we'll game a lot for a little while till we break through a game, and then we'll kind of take a break from the video games and come back to it. Most recently, we played that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate game, put like 25 hours or something on that in a few weeks, and then we haven't really played much recently. So, but if you add up that usage versus like one or maybe two movies a week, there's a pretty significant slant of time um, there. So, yeah, always ripping up my main room, so no space for family viewing. Yeah, I really try, despite the YouTube channel and stuff like that. I mean, the one thing that I don't want to be is like a consummate reviewer. Like, I don't want companies sending me stuff, and I don't want to constantly be procuring temporary stuff where I'm ripping up my room and I'm putting stuff in, and it's never functional. Like, I always want my spaces to be completely functional any given day of the week, because I can't predict like, oh, it's Thursday night. This is like the one night for the next week and a half that we could actually watch a movie together. And it's like, oh, we can't because I had this preamp thing receiver that I was hooking up and it's not done and I don't want to use it. So I focus on the stuff that I really like and keeping it stable. So we're obviously tearing a lot of stuff up right now, but that's for a very specific purpose. And then once that's done, that system will hit its stability point as well. Shrin saying, I missed out. Did you pick out a TV yet? Is the LG G5 no longer an option? So long story, I did talk about that earlier. You can kind of rewind or rewatch. But long story short, I am looking towards. I think the ultimate goal is a 97-inch LG G series, but circumstances are probably going to have me wait for the G6 at this point. As a stopgap, I'm in especially if it's going to be 4, 5, 6 months potentially before the G6 really is truly an option, or some other type of equivalent set. I may go for a TCL QM9K 98-inch in the interim. I'm working on that right now, so stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Main thing I need in order to do a stopgap, I need to verify again of like lead time and availability. If it's going to take like 2 or 3 months to get the TCL, then I'll wait the 5 months rather than doing a stopgap. If I can get that TCL in here before Halloween, then okay, then I'm going to use it for 5-6 months perhaps. I probably would be inclined to do that. And I really am interested in comparing and contrasting and having the experience of the TCL for a little while. So we'll see how that goes. So, all right, that's it. And go get some dinner. Get on to the next activity. I don't know what we're going to do tonight with our living room tore apart, but I got more cleanup and things to do, and hopefully some drywall tomorrow. So look for, again, vlogs coming every other day starting tomorrow. If you feel so inclined, welcome anybody to become a channel member. The next 3 vlogs are published to members first right now. I'll continue to do that as much as I'm able to, as the content is available for me to publish early. That's usually the biggest member perk that I can generally provide. If we start really getting much more of a member community together, though, as well, I'll probably maybe even do some private, like full hangout live streams and stuff like people are, like a lot of folks are apt to do, where it's not just me kind of talking at you and some comments, but all of us on video together, kind of hanging out and chatting together. And of course, I would be have to mention, if I can help anybody out there with your setups, with your systems, with your upgrades, whatever, please get in touch with me. Excuse me. Voice is given out. Jeremy at techthusiasm.net is my email. Happy to engage, consult, advise, and of course, I am a dealer for a whole bunch of the things that I really like and enjoy and use in this hobby: Kaleidoscape, Focal, Seymour screens, Stewart screens, SVS. Did I say Focal? Kaleidoscape, JVC, Panamorph lenses, Sony, Denon Marantz, Snap stuff like the Watt boxes, the Strong racks, and I'm adding more. I can access NAD now. So if folks are looking for NAD, please reach out to me. Even if you're looking at like MadVR as well, I'm a certified product specialist for MadVR. Please come maybe perhaps through me first, and let's see what I can do for you. And I'm working on some other things, some very, very exciting things. So if you're looking for televisions as well, LG, I can get LG, Sony, etc. TCL also, especially if you're looking for the big boys. Please get in touch. Happy to help consult all of that stuff. If you would, please use my affiliate links as well. There's a bunch of them in all the videos. They're on my webpage, www.techthusiasm.com. Dealer information is there. There is a brand listing that is incomplete. I actually need to go do some work. So you may hear me mention some things vocally now that are actually not on the brand listing on the site, but all the affiliate links are on the website as well. Amazon, Audio Advice, Crutchfield, Walmart, Target, eBay, Monoprice, some apparel stores, and all of that. Please use them if you would. If you're shopping at those places, make sure you click add your cart and check out, because the attribution periods on a lot of these affiliate links are very short. So if you're clicking and buying later, I might not actually get the linkage. Of course, I welcome anybody to be a channel member. Super thanks, tips, and all that stuff. Always super, super appreciated. But thanks everybody for hanging out. Sorry about the hour delay, but life happens, projects happens. Come on back next week. We'll be talking with Focal. Be lining up more guests, hopefully between now and the end of the year. Get this project done and keep on moving through some new things. So thanks again. I hope you all have a great week. Coming back for more home theater discussion and fun. Have a good one.